All right, hey everybody. Another week and more to do. Let's see if we're getting anything yet with Twitch. Hey Game Room. Howdy howdy. How was your weekend? Hey K Money. Ali, welcome. All right, well, so this is going to be a little bit different. On last Wednesday's was different too with the LaunchBox Games database, but today I want to focus on trying to get a visual editor going that works properly um, and will allow us to easily allow users to easily build custom views and themes. So that's kind of what I want to get going today. So it should be kind of interesting. I would hope we might get into development after proper development after that's done. I'm not sure. It depends on how long that takes and what we can come up with here. Bit horrible. That stinks. It's extremely hot and humid here. You're melting. Well, I didn't know you were a witch, but but hopefully you can make it through that. Where I don't even know where are you at, Game Room? Maybe you told me, but I don't remember. You don't have to tell me though. I'm not sure if you want everybody to know. All right, so um, to get started here, this is going to be a little bit of playing around, experimenting, and brainstorming a little bit. So, but it always is with the development. So, let's pray here first before we get started too much here. Lord, thank you for once again the opportunity to come and work on this stuff together. Thank you for the ability to be able to do this and for all the blessings that you've given the community and myself. Help us to focus and be successful in coming up with a good solution here for the visual themes and bless our conversations. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay. You're in the UK, North Yorkshire border. Cool. Yeah. When I think of the UK, I don't think of hot and humid, um, but I did spend a summer in the UK when I was a kid, in the town of Hull, Hull. But I don't remember it being too hot and humid, but I probably don't remember. It's probably, of course, it's a big country, so it could be different weather too. Anyways, so here we go. Basically, for visual editors, I have done a little bit of research already. And visual editors, the only two feasible options that I've found so far are Visual Studio, and of course there is the free version of Visual Studio, and something called Kazaml, which is Kaxaml for XAML. So Kazaml is the other one. So those are the two editors, and I think Kazaml is going to be easier to use, but it is more limited as far as the functionality that it offers. And one of the issues that I'm running into right now is the same issue that everybody's running into, and that is that they can't see what they're working on because the references aren't working properly. So that's the first thing I got to get solved. My goal today, by the time we're done with this session, I hope to know everything I need to know in order to make a good tutorial video to get people able to do visual changes to the themes, using a visual tool. So that's kind of what I want to get going here first. And then we have some other changes that I have in mind too if we run out of other stuff to do. So um, let's get going. Kazaml Here's an example of XAML. That is, it's a simple little app you can install, but of course I'm running into the issues. We got these cannot find resource named user control style. So I kind of need to figure out how to solve that. And then of course Visual Studio is the other option, and there's free versions of that. So I kind of need to check on that and figure out, find a free version of it. It's been a long time since I looked for a free version of Visual Studio, and I know it's still out there. Um, Visual C Sharp free. I think it's still Visual Studio Express. I just want to check on this and make sure that it has everything we need. Um, Express for desktop, Express for web. This is the universal stuff. We don't want that. I assume we would want Express for desktop, assuming it lets us work with XAML. I can't imagine it wouldn't. I'm not sure. I don't really want to download it, but I'm going to have to. One of the issues I'm going to have is, of course, I've got the professional, or actually enterprise version of Visual Studio installed, and so I'm not going to even be able to install this, and I'm going to have to do it in a VM is what I'm going to have to do. But I think I can try that. Let me see if I can pull that up here, because we are going to need to be able to try that for this. Let me sorry, I'm reading comments. It's very similar to XML. I doubt it would take more than a day to learn. Shame I have the artistic skills of a potato-shaped picture. I'm with you there, Game Room. I don't have much artistic ability, but yeah, it is similar to XML. It isn't that hard to learn, and thankfully, it's really easy to work with simply because you've got the perfect examples for everything right in front of you. And of course, the more complicated the stuff you want to do, the more difficult it's going to be. But it's not too bad. So let's go first off. I'm going to go into Control Panel, or no, I need Administrative Tools. And this is not even available here anymore. So Control Panel, Administrative Tools, and I want the Hyper-V Manager is what I'm looking for. And Hyper-V is a it's a virtualization solution. So I'm going to pull up my existing Windows 10 instance virtual machine, which is basically, it'll be a version of Windows without Visual Studio installed. And luckily I have this available here. I used it recently to test something. So we'll start this up, and it's going to boot up and everything. So that'll take a little while. Hopefully this doesn't use up all my resources and end up screwing the stream. But this, of course, we're running two operating systems at the same time at this point, so it's possible. We never know. Somebody's using a loud weed eater or blower out there or something, driving me nuts right outside my window. You guys probably can't hear that though, I imagine. Fine. That'll do. I don't even know. I assume this will actually show up in the stream. I hope so. We'll find out. It's still booting, it looks like. But anyways, XAML. I'm not really overly impressed with this. I think it's working halfway decent. But one thing I've noticed is you can't drag and drop anything. It shows you a picture of everything that's going on, but you can't tweak anything with the mouse up in the visual editor, which makes it to me a whole lot less useful than I would like. So I'm guessing we're unfortunately going to have to go with the full Visual Studio experience in order to make this happen. And luckily, Visual Studio is free, so that's not too limiting. The reason why I'm considering wanting to use another piece of software though is simply because the install process for Visual Studio is significant. It's a big application, and it's not that difficult to work with it, but it's better if you know users if that isn't a barrier to the point of entry. So we definitely want to allow people to use XAML, hopefully, ideally, but I think Visual Studio is probably going to provide the better experience. And there may be more tools out there that I'm not aware of, but it seems like XAML would be the only other option, or the best other option, anyways. Hopefully, I can remember my password here. So far, so good. Oh wow, yeah. I used to, well, I don't use VMs so much for programming as I use remote desktop for a long time. I used to remote desktop into a server for pretty much all my programming when I was working for Perbyte, and then I switched over eventually. But yeah, well, and of course the we were using virtual machines over remote desktop is what we were doing, and so we ran Hyper-V on the um, on a super powerful super machine off-site and then or on-site, and I would remote desktop into that from afar, which has a lot of advantages. I don't know what's going on here with this virtual machine though. This isn't very good. It's crashing on me. So much for that. Let's turn that off, and I'm going to apply that checkpoint and revert it to the original state, and we'll try it again. I'm not sure what's going on with the virtual machine. Give it one more shot. I'll give up on this, move on to something else if this isn't working. We're not going to build a VM in this session, but hopefully we can get it working. It looks like we can see the VM in the stream, which is good. But yeah, anyways, virtual machines are huge. Yeah, it's they're just a lifesaver for so many things. And I had this one going recently, is I needed to test the setup program on a fresh Windows 10 installation, and so that's what I ended up doing. But all right, I'm gonna just close out of this. Anyways, um, what do you use, Game Room? Do you use Hyper-V or do you use VMware or the Oracle stuff? The old um, whatever it's called, I don't remember. VirtualBox, sure. Yeah, that's the Oracle stuff. And I've had when I've been playing with all of them, I've had better luck with. I've also been playing with them in order to get Windows 95 and Windows 98 game support going. So creating a VM with 98 on it to support old Windows 95, 98 games. And I had good luck. The best luck. I tried all three of them and I had the best luck with VirtualBox, believe it or not, as far as getting 95 and 98 games running. Largely because VMware and Hyper-V do a horrible job with driver support for Windows 95 and 98. It just doesn't work very well. So, but VirtualBox worked the best. All right, so here we have a VM. That's great. I am going to change the resolution. I should have done this earlier. Let's go down, and we're going to select. Try that guy. Keep. And then that way it'll mostly fill the screen. Um, and then, so here we are. We're basically in a separate virtual machine, different computer. And I'm going to try and go download Visual Studio Express and see what we can do with it. Just to make, oh great, I don't have a network connection. Yeah, this is gonna mess us up. I'm gonna have to do this elsewhere. The problem with the network stuff is that unless I can attach the network here, settings. If I tweak the network setting, it's gonna kill the stream. Is my issue with this. One of my concerns. Network adapter. I'm gonna try and hook it up to the switch, but hey, it worked. Good. Thank you, Hyper-V. Visual Studio Express. Visual Studio Community has all the features of Express and more and is still free. I don't know that I want to try that. I want to just download Express for desktop here first and see if that works for us. I'm not sure about Community. That's what I thought. I thought they had a new something out, but I'm not. I've never played with that before, and I don't really know what it offers or what the limitations are. I know it's going to be more um, cloud based somehow. It's also going to be more obtrusive as far as privacy and that kind of thing, I would expect. That was kind of weird. There it goes. Wow. Hurry up, guy. Of course, virtual machines can be kind of slow. Um, in the meantime, we have, because this is going to take a while to install. So far, so good. Visual Studio is kind of annoyingly heavy. Game Room says, I think it's pretty much free for individual developers and students. After that, you have to pay. The Community Edition, you mean, Visual Studio? That would make sense. Which would, well, that applies for anybody who's going to work on, the big box themes. I doubt there's any teams out there who are going to be working together to create the themes. So that should be fine. But anyways, Kazaml. Um, the issue that we're running into is that the main issue we're running into is we get this issue, cannot find resource named user control style, or cannot find this other resource. For starters, the first thing I did when we loaded this up was did some research online to search and figure out how to add external assemblies so they can be used in Kazaml. And my immediate solution, if we go to Program Files x86, and I load up the Kazaml folder, which is Kazaml is it's easy to install. I copied over bigbox.exe and launchbox.exe into the Kazaml folder, which in theory should allow you to use all the resources and stuff inside of launchbox.exe and bigbox.exe. So that was the first thing I did. Um, the uh, the problem um, the problem I'm running into though is it seems like some resources are loading, but the user control all the resource dictionaries I'm having trouble getting to load. So that's where we're currently at. Let's catch up on some comments. Ali, why are you doing it in a virtual machine? Basically because I have Visual Studio installed, the Enterprise Edition installed on my local machine, and I need to make sure that, and so I can't install the Express Edition as well, and I need to make sure that the Express Edition is going to be everything that we need for the XAML editing. So I want to check on that to make sure the free version of Visual Studio actually does work for what we need it to work with. Kaleidoscope says, a bit off topic, but what ISP do you have and what is your download and upload speed? I have Comcast, and I hate Comcast, but it's the best option for this area. What my download and upload speed is, I have no idea, to be honest. It's pretty high up there, but it's not. I think it's the highest um, consumer grade um, package, the fastest consumer grade package. I use cable internet, um, but it's not a professional grade package at this point. And I could upgrade it if you think that's going to help with the stream. Are you asking because you're having stream issues, Kaleidoscope? Or if you're talking about the server, that's a completely different story. I'm just talking about my current, my home here. Let's check on the Yeah, this is going to take a while. It's still working on the installer there. Uh, One thing I want to check in XAML here is I want to check to see if it's really truly loading any external resources. If I, for example, if I get rid of user control style in this, it looks like it's working, which is good. And what that means is it is loading this cover flow, this flow control successfully. Although you can't see anything here, it's just black. Um, and the nice thing about Visual Studio is it'll show you the different columns and everything. It's just so limited because XAML is much more limited than I thought it would be. It's not really not it's not being very useful. But at least, I mean, it is loading things, so putting the assemblies in that folder is working. My issue is that for whatever reason, the resource dictionaries are not accessible. And I'm thinking the reason for that must be um, just because they're not public, maybe. So I was trying to look into that. So, anyways, that's kind of what the current battle that I'm trying to fight here with Kazamel. Oh, okay, cool. Thought of moving near the same area in Stanislaus County. Sure, sure. Comcast is the, at least in Modesto here, Comcast is the provider of choice. Although I hate Comcast, just ethically and morally, I despise Comcast because of their policies, and they have a history of uh, you know fighting against open internet and that kind of thing, and trying to limit internet usage and do a paid as you go model where you pay for the number of bytes that you consume and all that kind of garbage. So for that reason, I don't like having Comcast. But of course, problem with this whole system is you can't choose who you're going to use. Um, Depending on the area you're in, you might have some choices, but I don't really have any other good choices as far as lightning fast internet other than Comcast. So, and to be completely honest, I have not had very many issues with Comcast. It's been very good. The only issue that I've had um, really has been the fact that my cable box is buried in a spot that gets soaked all the time, which means that I have issues with static electricity killing my cable modems, which sucks. It's only happened once, but I figured out, the neighbor talked to me about how why that's happening, and it's specifically because of things shorting out because of the way the cables are hooked up with my particular house. But that is Comcast's fault, but it only applies to me. How quick is my net? Again, I don't know. I'd have to run a test, and I can't really run a test while I'm streaming. Um, I mean, I used to know, but it's been a year and a half since I set it all up, so I don't remember the speeds. I know it's significant. It's pretty high up there. Like I said, it's the top tier consumer speed, but I'd have to run a test to figure out um, what exactly it is. So virtual machine, okay. Took that long just to load up the setup program. Great. Yeah, this is going to take a while, but we'll let that go in the background, and we can take a look at what to do with our local Visual Studio installation. But anyways, the good news is it's loading up the controls properly using the bigbox.exe and launchbox.exe files that I throw into the XAML folder. So that is a step in the right direction. The other thing that we need to fix, though, is why are the resource dictionaries not accessible? And I'll show you what a resource dictionary is. Here's an example. So here's the user control style. This is actually the LaunchBox code, or the big box code. And so we define a resource dictionary using XAML, and these are the problem. These are what are not accessible. And I need to figure that one out, figure out how to solve that issue. And so I need to do some research online to see if we can solve that. And I started doing a little bit of research, but I didn't get very far. So let's take a look here. Resource dictionary. WPF public. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I didn't. I'm having trouble figuring out what to search for. But the issue is that for some stupid reason, this is not accessible outside of the project, and I can't figure that out. It's accessible just fine when it's loaded up in Big Box um, from the file. It's just not accessible in XAML, and I'm not sure why. Usually a class has, public or internal or private. And so one thing is I'm wondering if it's just compiled internal. And maybe I should pull up the code in like or not ReSharper in um, a decompiler, whatever it's called, Reflector. I'm not even sure. I think my Reflector is outdated on this machine, though. I have a license to it, but it's not. I can't remember if I just didn't install it or something. But anyways, so we're not going to do that right now. I don't know. Oh, class modifier. Is this it? Look, I think we just found it. I just found it. Class modifier equals public. Well, that would be handy. If that's all I need to do, we're winning. What's the issue though? Type declarations are public by default. Well, poo. Okay, but maybe we need a class. Maybe that's it. That's possible. Class equals big box dot styles dot user control style. Okay. So what happens then if we add a class called user control style .cs. Oh no, we need to change this up. It should be .xaml.cs. And we get rid of all this namespace bigbox.styles public class user control style. We might need partial on that. Probably do. Partial class user control style and public user control style this dot initialize component. Now in theory that just might solve it. Let's rebuild, see if that fixes the issue. That would be nice. Yeah, for sure. Paying by the byte is just, or the megabyte. It's absurd. What a stupid idea. And it gets problematic across the board. Things like Netflix, in that kind of situation, in that kind of environment, Netflix just dies. Um, and it's so restrictive that it basically destroys the internet at that point. So I am very, very adamant about not allowing the ISPs to take an approach like that. It needs to be illegal. It's just ridiculous. It's not a good thing at all. And when the mobile phone companies did it, I was extremely pissed off because it's a problem even for mobile because everybody's moving to mobile. And now that the mobile people have done it, it's going to be hard to keep the regular internet companies from doing it. So it's just really frustrating. But anyways, Schema file in XML. It depends on what you mean by that. Basically, the resource dictionaries here. This sets this basically says that if I apply this style to any user control, it targets a user control and it specifies styles for it. So basically, a user control is not going to have any focus, visual focus. It's going to have a border thickness of 0, margin of 0, padding of 0, a background of this color here. So ultimately, it just defines the styles for user controls in the app as long as they reference this particular style. So that's what this does. But I think we're built. So what I'm going to do now is copy my bigbox and launchbox.exe files back to XAML and update them here. But they're probably in use because XAML's open. So we'll close XAML and then replace them. And it tells me I need administrative permissions. No big deal. Okay. So now, here's the moment of truth. We'll open this up. File open, and I'm in my custom theme. I'm going to just open all my views. And we'll see what happens here. That's weird. Okay, it's still having trouble getting at the user control style. Dang it. I don't know. I think we're going to go try Visual Studio to see if that solves that particular issue. That just doesn't make any sense. And then we have horizontal list box style, which is the same kind of thing. It gets at my custom controls. It just doesn't get at my resources, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. Unless, oh, whoa. It's in a namespace. That's the issue. We have to add a namespace for it, probably. Okay. I'll look at that in a second. What do we got going on in the comments here? That's pretty fast, Ali. That's extremely fast. That's awesome. I'm not sure. I know. Yeah, I don't know what mine is. I can't remember. It could be that fast, actually. I'm not sure. 100 megabits per second with no data cap. Well, that's cool. 1,000. I could go to 1,000, 1,000. $100 a month. Oh, that's nice. In New Mexico is superior to urban areas. That's incredible. That's really cool. The what always angered me was the fact that my upload speed was always so low. Like, and it still is right now. You get killer ridiculously fast download speeds and then crappy upload speeds. So it's awesome to see that you've got the same for both. That's what I've wanted for years. That's incredible. Yeah, Amazon Prime, absolutely. I use that too. Yeah, we don't subscribe to cable TV, and we haven't for a long time, and we don't even use live over the air TV. And we chose to get rid of that stuff when my kids were born, just because we didn't want too many advertisements in our house. So we watch what we want when we want to watch it, and we don't watch advertisements. That's uh, that's our that's our thing. So that's how it is. And there's some things that we can't watch without getting them somewhere else. But we'll watch them on Prime or Netflix if they're available. If not, company's fault, not ours. So that's how it is. That's my that's my stance on it. But it is what it is. But I don't watch live TV. No, we don't subscribe to it. Haven't done that for 10 years now. So yeah, I don't really have a cap. If I did, it would be super super high. I had Time Warner cable where I was at before, and I actually got they got after me because I was using too much data at one point, which is really I didn't like that at all. So yeah, that happens. But I've had, believe it or not, I've had a better experience with Comcast than Time Warner. So, anyways, uh, I'm thinking I'm missing a namespace. So let me try this. If we put, it's XMLNS, and we can update these to fix this issue if this works. So we'll do styles equals CLR namespace colon big box dot styles assembly equals big box. Okay. And now in our user control style, what we can do is say, hopefully, we can say styles colon user control style. No, it didn't work. Yeah, that's interesting because it doesn't use namespace usually for the styles. I guess let's look that up, see if we can solve that one. Um, namespace, resource dictionary. If I can type WPF resource in a separate. How are we doing over here, by the way? Hey, it's done. I didn't tell you to cancel setup, you poop. Goodness. No, I don't want to cancel setup. What the heck happened? This might be a lost cause. I don't understand what's going on. I guess I'll have to do this later. What on earth? It won't even let me click the button. No. Fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna switch gears. Let's have let's just try using Visual Studio. And I'm gonna try my local one here as well. Take it easy, Lee. Have a good sleep. There ought to be. I mean, it didn't give me an error. Um, it didn't tell me the error was it was out of space. It just wouldn't let me install the dumb thing. Maybe it's because of my UAC settings. Drive C properties. Come on. There it is. We have 30 gigs free. So yeah, it should be fine. It said 12 gigs needed. Let's try UAC. I just don't want to take up too much of the stream time trying to get Visual Studio installed. That's ridiculous. User accounts. User account control settings. Just get rid of them. Forget you, UAC. Goodbye. Alright. And then downloads. We're going to even take it a step further and run that as administrator. Who knows if that makes any difference. Yes, close all the tabs. Alright. Let that run. And then, so Visual Studio here. If we load up a new instance of Visual Studio, one thing we could do is distribute a, and we'll probably need to do this eventually, but distribute a project package uh, with LaunchBox Big Box so that you could use this to edit the themes, and that's what we might have to do. I'm pretty sure that's going to work, but in the meantime, what I want to it would be great if we could get it to just open a file and work with it that way. But I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that or not. So, for example, we go into our LaunchBox folder, and we go into themes, go into my copied theme here. Oh, great. And look, Kazamla is putting all these backup folder files in our folder. That's wonderful. Interesting. So let's open CoverFlow Games View. And by default in here, I notice it it doesn't have the view portion of it for some reason. So that's one thing to solve. And it doesn't try and compile it, and it's going to need to. It's going to need to be able to compile it. So I think we're going to need a project if we're going to do this in Visual Studio. So one thing we could do, create a project file and distribute that with the default theme. So then when you copy the theme over, it uses that instead. So let's give that a shot. Just make this an ideal scenario. So we go to our. That's not what I want. Let's go to LaunchBox folder, go to our themes folder, and then go into default, for instance, and go to views. And for example, so we're going to create a new project in this. We'll try that first. I'm going to go into our empty solution here. We're going to close it. I'm going to go to new project. And we want Windows, WPF application. Actually, I want a class library. We're not going to create a directory for the solution. We're going to call this Big Box Theme. And I'm going to browse to my LaunchBox folder, themes, default, and we'll put this in views maybe, or not. I think maybe we should leave this, maybe put it in here. It's fine. Select that folder. We'll see what that does, how that structures it all. So if we go now into our default theme, yeah, it created this big box theme folder, so we're going to have to tweak this a little bit. So let's close out of this and move stuff around a little bit here. We don't need class 1, but we can get back to that. So I'm going to cut this stuff and paste it in here, and we'll delete the big box theme folder. And then just double click on the solution file, and that should open it up in Visual Studio. And if we distribute this stuff with LaunchBox, then what we'll be able to do is people will just be able to install Visual Studio, double click on the solution file or the CS project, and things should magically work for them to tweak the theme. So that's the kind of the concept I'm going for right here. And like I said, it would be nice to avoid Visual Studio, but obviously Visual Studio is going to provide the most extensive interface for doing this stuff. So I think that's probably what we'll do. And then we can also work this same kind of thing into the plugin support, so that people can just build it, which would be nice. So that's another thing. So we're going to delete this class 1. Obviously, we don't need that. And I'm going to show all files in the project, and I'm going to include views in the project. And we have all those XAMLs. We're going to disable showing all files. So this is what it's going to look like. Save all. And if I pull up one of these, it's probably going to error out because all these references are missing. But you'll see we get the actual view up top. It's just showing us errors because we're missing the references. So the next thing we want to do is add references to, or add a reference probably to both Big Box and LaunchBox. So if we go browse, in theory, because um, so I'm in my LaunchBox folder and I'm going into themes and default. And because the project is right here, in theory, what we should be able to do is go to the parent folder and directly reference the existing bigbox.exe and launchbox.exe, and it should be relative, so that should automatically happen. That would be nice. Um, so let's give that a shot. And now, if we go to views, I still have an issue here with system.windows.interactivity, so that's just a reference we need to add. You know what? There's probably going to be more references that we need. We'll see. Add a reference to assemblies. This might be more involved than I want it to be. We'll see. But I think I need to copy a DLL over. Hey, Johnny, welcome. I'm working on, I'm not sure if you're new to this whole stream, but we're working on a front end called LaunchBox and BigBox. Right now we're working on a custom theme editing solution for that program. You can check it out at launchbox-app.com. That'll give you a good introduction to what LaunchBox and BigBox are. So if I go into my code, unbroken software, source, LaunchBox, references, we have system.windows.interactivity. So this is a DLL file we'll probably need. I'm going to copy that over to my themes default. And for now, I think I'm just going to stick it right in here. Hey, Silent Hill, welcome. And we'll reference that. So in my Big Box theme project, we're going to add a reference. And we'll browse, and we're in the LaunchBox folder, themes, default. We're going to reference that guy. Okay. Now let's see what we get. Let's pull up Wheel Games View. Still have a million issues. Interesting. Huh. What is my .NET version? 4.6.1. I'm going to change this to 4. No, 4.6.1 is... What happened to 4.6.2? What the heck? I guess that'll work, but... Strange. This is pretty weird, to be honest. Let's try a different one. We're missing WPF references. That has to be it. Yeah, we're not referencing the WPF stuff. That's my fault. That's my problem. Add reference. Assemblies. We're going to need... We need to add all the XAML references. So we need XAML. And this just comes with .NET. So that might be all we need. I'm not sure. I should probably take a look at my Big Box project. Let's take a look at LaunchBox. And we'll take a look at the references in this. And we're going to need... we have system.xaml, system.windows.interactivity. That looks like system.xaml should solve it. So let's take a look now. Let's save everything and open up Wheel Games View. We still have these weird issues. It's finding like nothing. It's not finding like the basic controls. So something is weird. Binding is not supported in a Windows Presentation Foundation project. That doesn't make any sense. All right, so what am I doing wrong? Still references, I would expect. So let's take a look at Well, we have the caliber and micro stuff, but I don't think that's doing it. Presentation core, presentation framework. That's probably what we're missing. Okay, so let's go back. References, add reference. Presentation core and presentation framework. Okay. Look at that. Everything magically gets fixed. That's what I like to see. We still have the issue, the same issue. Wonderful. We still have the same issue with the user control style crap. So we still have that same issue to solve. But most of these issues went away. User control does not support direct content. That's weird. Okay, so we have another issue here. What are we missing now? Go back to our big box project. We have system of Windows.forums or Windows base, Windows forums integration. All right. Windows base, Windows forums integration, and let's include system of Windows.forums for kicks just to make sure. Because some of them might need that. Looks like that solved it. Let's see if we build. Still can't find user control style. But otherwise, it looks like we're back to the same issue we had with XAML. No, it's still having that same stupid issue. What? Does not support direct content. I have to Google that one. That one's weird. Whittling this down to be small is more difficult than I had envisioned. That's for sure. Every time I watch Jason work, Silent Hillbilly says, every time I watch Jason work, it reminds me of those cult cyberpunk anime B movies where there's a dude who speaks in tech lingo I don't understand, and he smashes keys on the keyboard and magically makes things work. Sounds like a lot of fun for you, Silent Hillbilly. Well, right now I haven't made much work on this stream. Kind of knew that was going to happen though. Johnny, are you streaming only on Twitch? Yes. Right now it's only on Twitch, although I will be on YouTube. The videos are all on YouTube after the fact. So you can find us on YouTube. Just search for LaunchBox, and we're all over the place. The channel is called LaunchBox. So what are we going to do now? The error that I'm seeing, the weirdo error, is the type user control does not support direct content. Let's do a Google on that. The type user control does not support direct content. Try to add, if it's not already added, a system.xaml reference to your project. Yeah, I already did that. And UI automation provider references. We might have to, okay. Do I have UI automation provider? No. So that's weird. It is saying close the solution and reopen it, so I'm going to try that. So in my default theme, we'll open up the solution. Okay. See if we can build it. No. However, that weird error is gone. Look at this. Okay. As you see in Visual Studio, this is nice. We still have the user control style issue, and we have one other error with action message classes or things, and this is because of we don't have caliber and micro, so that's just another reference we need to add. And then the whole user control style thing is the same thing we're dealing with in Kazaml. But this is good. This is a lot of progress. And if you look at these grids, look how easy you can. I mean, you can play with this stuff in here. And in theory, yeah, you can even resize everything on the fly. See how easy that is? So this is the best interface to use in my book. I don't want to save this. Well, it's overwritten. It doesn't really matter. You can just delete it and it comes back. But um, you have visual editing, and not only that, but you can actually drag things from the toolbox. Um, and in this case, we have an issue with this user control style stuff. But if we take that out, that one issue is what we're dealing with. All the dumb resource references. And we have the action message stuff. So let's see if we can solve the action message thing. Let's go. That should be relatively easy. Let's go to LaunchBox. No, we need to go to my source and my references. And what I need is the caliber and micro ones. Well, I think they're all needed. I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and grab them all for now. Then I'm going to go back into LaunchBox, themes, default, and we're just going to paste them in here. Well, that's not too bad. It's not too much space required for those 4 DLLs, so we'll let them stay in there. And then in my solution, we're going to add references to those 3 DLLs. Browse. There we go. Hurry up. There it is. Let's check on this VM. See if that works. All right. So we have the references, and then a lot of our errors should go away. So we'll rebuild. It succeeded. That's good. That's a good sign. The build succeeded. So, and this is going to create a DLL under here called bigboxtheme.dll, although we won't be really using that, but that's what it's going to do when you build it. So now, in theory, all of these should be editable, and we still have this issue here, but we could actually include this with, the projects, which would solve this anyways, this issue. So that's a relatively easy one to solve in Visual Studio. But you can even see, and we have the horizontal list box style. All the styles are going to be missing, but it doesn't get in the way of working with the XAML, which is a good thing. Although we should include them to make it simpler. But yeah, all these are workable. So if we distribute this stuff with it, which does complicate it, but in theory, you could use the Express version of Visual Studio and be able to easily change things up. So that's a big win. Silent Hillbilly, keep at it. What are you trying to accomplish? So basically, right now we're trying to make it easy for users to customize their own themes with a visual interface. Ultimately, I need to make a tutorial video to allow people to do that easily. So we're looking at the custom theme system right now, and we're trying to come up with a good solution for people to be able to do that across the board. Be able to create their own custom themes. And previously, people were having trouble. They were editing the themes just fine with the text editor and all that kind of stuff, but there was no visual theme support. So I'm trying to introduce that and create a good solution for that right now. Have you seen livecoding.tv? Looks like Twitch for developers. That's cool. No, I haven't seen that. Twitch is working really well for me, but I could give it a shot. I'm not sure if it's going to gain me any more audience, but probably something to look into. I don't even know how to live stream two places at once. No idea. Anyways, we have this working. Thankfully, so people can now come in and say, so they load up, for example, the CoverFlow Games view. Um, that's a bad example, apparently. What is this? Oh yeah, we're creating. Interesting. Oh, I know what I've seen that before. That's a code issue and that I need to solve to get the editor to work better. So I'll take a look at that at some point. Trying to pull up a good example here. Maybe platform wheel, image details, thumbs. So something simple like changing the background color. Oh wow, I really need to fix that. So let's use something that doesn't do that. Let's go to text games view. So you got your text list on the left. Obviously, it's super easy to resize the stuff, and then you can like change. It's easy. You have properties over here on the right, so it's going to be easy to change the settings. You don't even really have to type the stuff. You can, for example, we're on this transition presenter here. We go to brush and change the color of things, change the appearance, the opacity, whether it's visible, an effect. Where's like the background style? Hmm. This can be annoying to use, honestly, but like margin and padding and all that kind of stuff. At least you have a property box to be able to mess with stuff now. That's cool, Johnny. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I wonder how big their audience is because that's my biggest concern is you know is anybody on there to begin with? Because if not, then what's the point? But that does make sense. Um, so yeah, I think this is a win. I think we got a good start here. I still have another things to solve. Um, we're gonna be adding the styles for the user control style stuff, resource dictionaries into this project. I think to make that work properly. But yeah, I think this is what we're going to end up doing. We'll probably, and I still need to confirm in my VM that this is actually going to work. I don't know how long this stupid thing is going to take. We can take a look at that in a little bit. So I'm thinking let's get back to actual development here for a little bit. Um, but this is a good solution. This is a good start. It stinks to require people to install Visual Studio, but it's going to be the best experience, I think. I haven't found any better tools to use. So let's get back into development. Why not? Um, let's go into the LaunchBox project. I'm going to get rid of this because it didn't do any good. I don't think that's what we need. That's not going to solve anything. So we'll get rid of that stuff, and then I'm going to go down and delete this file right here that we don't need. All right. So on my to-do list, the top thing, what I really wanted to do, one thing I really wanted to do, this has been a common request, is add an option to Big Box to always skip the game details. And I'll show you why. Let me load up Big Box here. I'm going to need to load it up this way because it's got to pop up on this monitor. Come on, buddy. My splash screen shows up on the other monitor so you guys can't see it. So right now I've got this custom view loaded that I was playing with. Let me go ahead and change it up. And we'll go to options, general, go to the default view. All right. Yeah, and I've got another issue on this computer where the videos aren't working on the second monitor, which is irritating. Windows Media Player garbage. But so basically, what I'd like to do is if we, oh man, it's really, I don't know why I've got this issue. No, it's not. It's just taking a long time. I've got too many resources going on at the same time right now. I'm running a VM and all that stuff. Well, let's go into, for example, Nintendo Entertainment System. Um, right now, there is a shortcut key you can use to fire off the game immediately, but a lot of people are complaining because when you press enter on this, it takes you into the game details, and the problem with that is that a lot of people, I mean, we need this menu available, but a lot of people don't want to go this deep. They just want to be able to press enter and play the games. So that's kind of the option I want to add here. So I'm going to go. First thing I'm going to do is go into my options, and for this setup or for this uh, session here, I'm going to go into turn off background videos because that stupid issue. Still, I'm not getting backgrounds. What on earth? You guys get to see it live. All the crap going on. I don't understand. Maybe I have a bug that I didn't know about. Sort of looks like I do. The backgrounds aren't showing. That's kind of a problem. How could that be, though? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe I have to restart. I'm losing my marbles, guys. Still don't have any backgrounds. Whatever. So, anyways, we're going to tackle that here. What am I doing? Check on the install. Still got a ways, long time before that's going. So that's the issue. The issue with Visual Studio is the setup process takes 3 years. But anyways, and of course this is going much slower than it would otherwise, simply because um, it's in a VM. But next step in this, I'm going to pull up Visual Studio for my LaunchBox project. Basically, we need to add some settings to allow users to turn off the game details view by default. And then we're also going to need to add a keyboard and button combination to take you to the game details. In that situation where you don't want the game details to show by default, you need to get to them somehow. So we'll add a keyboard or button combination for that. So let's go to, for example, I need to go, not for example, we need to go into LaunchBox data and big box settings and add these two settings. So under, or where do we want to put this stuff? The other thing I want to do is sort of organize the options better, because right now they're kind of iffy. It's the way they're organized. So that's something I'm going to tackle here in a little bit, or not, maybe not in this stream, but soon. General options, I'm thinking we're going to put a new setting, public bool. I'm going to say enable. How do we phrase this? Show game details or disable game details screen by default. I don't know. That's really confusing. We need to figure out a better way to say that. Enable game details screen by default. Or maybe skip game details screen. That's a better way to put it. Skip game details screen. I think that's more obvious as to what we're doing here. And then we need an option to show game details, a keyboard combination, and a joystick button combination. So we'll go down to game menu, filters images, filters list, filters details, platform details, keyboard. We're going to add a new one down here. Public int keyboard show game details. That's confusing though, because game details are the maybe show game menu. Or game details screen. Game details screen. Let's use that verbiage. And then up top, skip game. That's exactly what we did already up top. Stupid me. There we go. Okay. Controller buttons. This is what we need. We need the same thing here. Data table export. Public int controller show game details screen. Get set. So those are all the settings we need, and then we need to add them to the big box interface. Shouldn't take too long. Under big box data options pages, in general, we need a new options page at the end. Options pages.general.menu items.add. I should just copy paste. It needs to be a checkbox item. Label skip game details screen. So s dot skip game details screen equals item.value, and item.value equals s dot skip game details screen. So there's that option. That's just we need to add the string for that to the translations, but we'll get to that in a second. And then under keyboard mappings, we need another one here. It is going to be a keyboard mapping item, so we're going to copy this, and the label is going to be label show game details screen. Excuse me. S.keyboard show game details screen equals item.value. Item.value equals s keyboard show game details screen. And something very similar. I'm going to copy this. Well, now we'll controller buttons. We need the same kind of thing. Label show game details screen. S.controller show game details screen, and s.controller show game details screen. Okay, let's add those translations. That's in LaunchBox properties, strings, label show game details screen. So label show game details screen, show game details screen, and the other one was label skip game details screen, skip game details screen. And that's false by default, which is exactly the way it should be. There it is. So we have our option. Then we just need to actually skip the game details screen if it's enabled, and then also program the buttons. So let's do that. My bit rate. Hey Acid, my streaming bit rate, I have to check. Hopefully go into the settings, doesn't jack things up for the stream. Yeah, I'm not sure I can even check it. My bitrate is 4500 for streaming. Acid, which I think is a little bit on the high end. but we're doing 1080p because we kind of have to get the amount of code on the screen that we need. Yeah, thank you, Game Room. I know we're definitely pushing the limits for some people. I'm aware of that. Unfortunately, though, I would rather push the limits and have a decent streaming experience for the people with decent connections than have to dumb it down. We started with 720p originally and it reduced bitrate, but the problem is you can't read the code at that point. And while I'm developing, I kind of need a nice big view. I don't really want to decrease my resolution or anything like that because that really makes me less productive. So unfortunately, I mean, I could try decreasing the bit rate, but I'm afraid, um, yeah, it's at 4,500 right now. Anyways, 4,500. Sorry. What what are you saying? What are you saying with that little guy there? Is that high? I don't even know, to be honest. I looked it up a long time ago and adjusted it, but oh, it doesn't work for you. You mean it doesn't work for you when you stream yourself? All right. Anyways, we have our options pages. Let's build it. Let's make sure we build. We didn't break anything, but oh, really? 3,500 is supposed to be max. Interesting. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure I'm pushing it. Everybody says don't stream at 1080p too, and here we are. It's working. So, 5,000. Okay. Sure. Buffers constantly. Yeah. So I hear. If you don't have a good internet connection, it's a little bit hardcore. But like I said, 3,500 is what's recommended for 720p. So in theory, that shouldn't be enough for 1080p. Um, so I upped it to 4,500 in hopes that we can pull it off. And I think from what I hear, I do get some complaints that people are unable to. I mean, it's constantly lagging, but like I said, I'd rather have a good experience for the people who have the ability to see it than restrict it for everybody. So that's what we're sticking with for now. That's good to know. Breaking all the rules. Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's working. I know there is a difference between streaming code and streaming like graphics intensive games. So I'm not. The bit rate doesn't make sense because it seems like it's constant, but that doesn't really make sense because, especially like right now, you're looking at a static screen for the majority of the video. So you would think that the amount of data being sent back and forth would be minimal in this situation, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's great to hear, K Money. Good. Yeah, we haven't gotten too many complaints on it, so I'm not touching anything, leaving it alone. All right, we're gonna go. So do we? I think the first thing we're gonna do is actually add the code to skip it if the setting is there. So in my views, if we take a look at actually view models, the view models where this applies are the games list views basically all the views that list the games. So that's games view models. So these are the different classes where that's possible. Um, so when you click on a game, let's start with games view model base. When you press enter, it's on enter is where this logic would begin. This guy right here. So basically, any of this is what the code we kind of need to override for all these various files if any of them override this method. So right now, basically, um, if a menu item is selected, we call on enter on the menu item. Um, and if a menu item is selected, that would mean we are we're in the game details, I believe. So we don't have to do that. If we're in the index, we don't want to override that. This is the default functionality here. We're just skipping it if things aren't loaded. Tell it to play the music. Oh, we're setting the list. Oh, this is all overridden in all the child classes. So basically, this logic only applies to the text games list view, but we still need to do it in that view. And basically, we're setting the list view model, which is normally the text list of games. We're setting it to the text list of game menu items instead in this situation. So we do need to override this. We need to say if program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.skip game details screen. We need to do something else. Basically, we just need to play the game ultimately. And then return. But we need to push this up because we don't want to do any of this if, oops, wrong keyboard shortcut. Tried to save. There we go. We don't want to do any of this if any of these things are null. And this happens on startup. People were pressing buttons on startup, which is the reason why I had to add that. So anyways, we're going to basically play the game. We're going to act like the user's playing the game. So what we can do is we can say new play menu action. Okay, and we feed in this dot selected game dot game. We already checked to make sure this dot selected game is not null. And we have some special logic here for when we play games to stop the videos and stuff like that. So I need to check new play menu action. Let's search the document for that. Here's a good example. Oh, look, we already have a play method which handles all this for us. So that's what we'll do. We'll just call the play method. This dot play return true. Bingo. So that should work for the text list view. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. We are going to have to tweak it for these other ones. We have the boxes games view model. Do we override on enter for this one is the question. We do. So we got to do this here as well. If the index is active, we need to do that. That's fine. If the selected game is null, we're going to not do anything. That's fine. And then we call show game. This shows the details. And instead of doing that, what we need to do is this. So that should handle it. Bingo. I think that's it. And then cover flow games view model. Search for on enter. We do override it here. If the index is active, then we don't want to do it. That's the same deal. Nice and simple. Okay, and then cover flow with details on enter. Okay. Index active. If it's null, we stop the music. On music stopped. I think that's... I don't know that we need that though. I don't think we do. Because I think this stop play will handle that with the play menu action. Oh, we have stop video. Man, let's go ahead and include that in that scenario. Okay. And we already tackled games view model base. We'll go to text games view model. I don't think on enter is overridden here. Nope. And then wheel games view model. Last one. On enter. There's our method. Stick it in there. Oops. Crap. Cover flow. This is what we need right here. So now, if we go in and um, tell, we enable that option, then it should skip it. The only other thing we need to do for this particular series of features is um, tell it to go to the game details when you press that particular key or button combination. But let's test this first. Let's go ahead and build it. How's our VM looking? We're still installing. All right, we're built. Load up my crippled big box here that isn't showing me any backgrounds for some stupid reason on this monitor. It's so weird. Oh, it's on the wrong monitor right now. You know what? I think I broke something recently when I was working on. That's the problem with the backgrounds. I just straight up broke something. Because it's not working on my other monitor either. So I must have broke something this morning when I was trying to fix things. That must be what's going on with the background videos. Whoops. So I'll have to come back to that one. I'm not sure why that's happening. Good thing I found it. Otherwise, I'd have a bunch of people knocking on my door. Hey, Buck, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that it's working well for you. 500 to 1700, and yeah, I'm pushing this machine way too hard right now. I'm using like half the RAM for that virtual machine. I've got 16 gigs of RAM, but I'm using 8 gigs of it for the virtual machine, and then we got lots of Visual Studio instances open. We're streaming. Yeah, there we go. It's not happy with me right now. Let's go into, probably doesn't matter. I need to go into the options first. Unlock, and then go into options. And in general, look, we have skip game DurTales screen. How nice. All right. Well, I'll fix that in a second. So we've enabled that option. Let's go into Super Nintendo. Wait for it. Wait for it. Crying, crying. All right. And now we have backgrounds in this screen. Interesting. Okay. Hopefully nobody's watching this video and trying and getting a perspective on how Big Box is from my development session here. Is it's in the middle of development and everything's broke. So here we go. I'm going to press enter and it should start playing the game. It's probably going to pop up on my other monitor though. Yep, there it is. Looking good. Actually, the game is still loading. My SNES game is taking 5-10 seconds to load. That's how loaded down my system is right now. 15 seconds, I don't know. Come on. Hurry up, guy. Close it out. All right. So yeah, that's working. We should check the other views. But I'm gonna go into the options and change the skip game DurTales screen off and make sure that still works. Super Nintendo, go into Chrono Trigger, and there's the game details screen. So yep, that's working. We'll go into options, check that box again, and let's load up, let's change the view. Now when I press control on here, it should load it, and it is. That's good. Okay. Actually, go back in, change the view. We want to just check all the views and make sure it works. Okay, switch it up. Wake up, buddy. There you go. This works better than the PlayStation 3 store. Yep. Yep, and we're back to the other view. So yeah, we're good. It's nice when things work, except I've got that typo that I need to fix. So let's fix the typo quick. We're going to go into strings here. And this was, now what was it called? This is in alphabetical order, not at the end. Label skip. Label skip game details screen. Not label skip game details screen. There we go. Now we're going to need bindings. We got to set the bindings and then actually make that do something for the keyboard press and the controller button press, which happens in main view. So let's load up the main view. No, it's main view model. Start with on keyboard, handle key down. Here we are. Just a big if else if section. Else if I could type key value equals program.datamanager.bigbox dot keyboard show game details screen. We don't want to do anything if it's a repeat. That's the same. This dot on show game details screen. We'll handle that in a second. We need the same thing for the controller. Handle joystick button right here. Else if button equals program.datamanager.bigbox.controller show game details screen. This dot on show game details screen. I think that's what I called it. Find out on show game details screen. Okay. Let's find this series. Let's look for switch view on switch image type. Go to there. That's fine. We'll add a new one called public void on show game details screen. So this method is going to be called whenever somebody hits the key that's customizable, or somebody hits the button on their controller. So what are we going to do here? Basically, we need to check the view model, the active view model, to see if it's a games view model base, I think. Yeah. So if let's do a cast. So var games view model equals this dot active view model as games view model base. And in that case, we know that the active view is a games view model. And from there, if games view model equals null, then we're not going to do anything, because if somebody hits the button while they're not on a game screen, I guess it would apply, though, that it should happen on the filters view too if you're in a thumbnail on a game. So that's something we need to look at too. But I'll do that in a bit. Actually, so what I'm going to do instead of this, we're going to say games view model question mark. So if it's null, it's just not going to do anything. Dot, and we're going to create a new method called show game details that we need to add. So in my games view model base, I'm going to add a, really it should be next to on enter or something like that. I should just do a search. Here it is. Public virtual, so it can be overridden, void show game details. All right. And ultimately, the code is going to be very similar to this. That's why I wanted to put it next to on enter. Could turn false. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, just return. And then ultimately we do this stuff right here. Okay. And then we're going to have to change up this stuff for the other views, unfortunately. We're going to have to override this. I'm going to copy this for right now. And boxes games view model. I'm going to paste this in here and change this to override. And instead of doing this stuff all has to change. It's going to change to what we were doing on enter, basically. This guy. I think that's it. And I don't think we really need this stuff here. So that's nice and simple. And this is basically, for the most part, it's going to be almost the same for all these. Cover flow on enter. Instead of that, it's this dot selected game. Okay. Oops. And then cover flow with details. Same thing. This dot selected game. And there's the games view model base. The text games view model is just using the same thing from the base. Wheel. Just needs to be this dot selected game. Oh, the one thing we probably want to do this for all these still. And then under, yeah, we're going to need these for these others as well. We don't have it here though. Oh, because the cover flow games view model doesn't have that stuff. Well, maybe it should be playing music though. I don't know. We're probably missing it, to be honest. Let's add it. Okay. So now show game details, if we go back to the main view model, is implemented and it should work. The only other thing is doing it for the filters views, but let's do this here first. Let's give it a build. How's this coming? Still going. Ridiculous. It's insane how long that takes just for an an editor like Visual Studio. Although it is, I mean, it's a compiler and everything else, but still, it's like I don't understand why it's so flippin' huge. All right, done. Let's go ahead and give it a test. Just out of curiosity, what's my task manager look like? Yeah, it's working pretty hard. At least the CPU isn't pegged. That's good. That means the stream isn't going to die. So let's go into Super Nintendo, and then obviously we have the box checked so that it doesn't. Oh, we still have to map the keys and stuff. So let me do that. But first here, yeah, let's go into options. If we go keyboard mappings, show game details screen. So we're going to map that to what can we use? I don't know. I'm just going to use P right now. And then the controller. I don't have my controller on. Let me turn it on here. And we'll go to controller buttons. Oops. We're going to change this to, I don't know, I'm using everything right now, but button 8, and we'll disable this one. Oh, interesting. I got a glitch there apparently. Odd. That'll work. I better come back to that. My escape to clear wasn't working. Come back to that one. All right. So we have our controller button and our keyboard mapping set. Now, if we go into Arcade, for instance, which I'm still working on getting the images for, and we obviously, if we just press Control to play it, or Enter to play it, it'll play it. But we should be able to hit our new shortcut here, which I've set it to P to go to the game details. There it is. We should be able to back out correctly. Yep. I need to check the rest of the views. I'm going to go find something that looks a little prettier. Let's do SNES. Switch this up. Cover flow. We press P. There it is. Next view. Shortcut. We're good there. Let's try the button instead. Make sure that's working. Still caching images, of course. But let me check that out. Yeah. It's working with the controller. Let's check this one out. Okay. This one's interesting. Yep. That worked as expected. Good. Cool. That's it. So we're in good shape there. And then the filters views. And the reason why we need it for the filters views is just so that when you go to a, um, I guess I can show it here real quick. So down here in recent, there's favorites on top of it, but down here in recent, we need to make it work with the keyboard shortcut 2. And right now it's not going to. So that's what we need to tackle next. And that shouldn't be that difficult. It should go pretty quick. So go ahead and get that done, and then we'll be done with these features. And we can look at something else, do something else. Because we still got a good hour and 15 minutes. This is not what we need. We need this in, start in main view model. This is on switch or on show game details screen. We're going to say var filters. We have all these filters view models. It's going to be filters view model base. Var filters view model equals this dot active view model as filters view model base, and then filters view model dot show game details. So same thing. We just need to add that, and I think it'll be a little bit more simple. Maybe not. Show game details. So on enter. It's going to be ultimately the same. That's another good point, is that it should skip too. It should obey the skip logic, and we're not doing that either. So we need to implement that as well for the filters view models. I didn't think about that. So yeah, it's still the same thing. It's on enter where we need to do this stuff. So here we are. We're going to be adding public virtual void void show game details. So, and another thing that is going to make this interesting is the fact that no, you can still play the games. You can already play the games directly from this screen. So it's not like we need to add a bunch of logic. We'll be okay. On enter, this is what happens. Basically, we're calling the show game here. And for these scenarios, we need to either show the game like we're already doing, or, of course, do the other option is to play the game directly. So what we're going to need here first, well, show game details is just going to ultimately do this. Well, it depends on the top box's view model selected or the bottom. It's going to do this. So this whole thing. I think. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's there. Then the other thing is if program data manager big box settings skip game details screen, then we do one thing, otherwise we do the other. We're going to need that down here as well, depending on which one is active. And skip game details screen, there's an on play or something like that. What is it? On play. Play. There it is. So we have a play method. So we just call the play method. Well, that's easy. So we didn't need to do all this. What we can do instead is just but we only want to run that if, so I'm going to cheat here. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but oh well. Yeah, I messed it all up now. Program data manager big box settings skip game details screen. I'm just going to say this.play and return true. That's fine. That'll do. And we're going to be doing that in both scenarios. So that handles this. So I'm going to copy this for now. And we're going to go to cover flow, filters, view model base. Take a look at on enter. We do have that difference, so we're going to have to update this. Whoops. We need to show game details, I think. Now this is show games. So this is cover flow, filters, view model base. Oh, well, it looks like we don't have in this base. We don't have the thumbnails, because so the cover flow is the full screen cover flow. So there's no thumbnails in this particular one, which means there's no this doesn't even apply. So I don't need to do anything with this one. Platform, filters, view model base. Probably do here. On enter. Yeah, we have the top boxes and the bottom boxes. Okay, good. So we'll add that here. Although we might not need to override this at all, because it looks like the code is the same, which is great. We don't need to override show game details. What we do need to do is still do this this code right here. Like that. Okay, and then platform wheel filters view model base. If we take a look at this take a look at on enter. Yeah, so on enter isn't overridden here, so it's using the same code as the above, so we don't need to do anything there. And then I think the same thing for all of these, which is great. There's nothing in these on purpose. And then finally here, on enter is using the base as well. So that's all we need to do there. That should solve both of those things. So we'll give that a test. I'm going to close out everything. We'll save it all. Do a rebuild. Subcategories for platforms, Silent Hill Billy. As much as I would like to do that, that's going to be a major job. I mean, that's going to take a long time. And I'm still in the process of wrapping up things for 6.4. So unfortunately, that's not something I can tackle right this instant. If you can understand, there's going to be some major restructuring, both in LaunchBox and Big Box. It's going to affect both. So it's not something that I can tackle right away, sadly. Although I agree, it'd be nice. I like that. I'm not looking. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to the amount of restructuring that we're gonna have to do to make that happen. But at the same time, I think it will be a worthy addition. So I like that feature. I agree. Although I'm gonna have to weigh how much time that's gonna take against the desire for it. So keep that in mind. Sorry I can't do that for you guys today. Okay, we're built. Start up Big Box. Okay. So on this screen, we should be able to, clicking on it shouldn't take us into the list because we have that setting enabled. So it should start the game up, and it does. That's good. Close it out. And then if we press our P button, our P key, it takes us to the game details. Good. And back. And we are going to need to switch up this view and test it with the other views. But all these wheel views are the same. But here's, let's test this one. That should play it. And then we press P, and we're taken to the game details. And then the next view, we're back to the wheel. I think we're okay. I think that's it. That's all we really got to do. We only changed two files because there's only different in two different views. So we're good. Good deal. So we're finally done with that. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the change log here real quick, so I don't forget to do that. It's under resources, change log. Controller automation. Yeah. I don't know why. It's not. It's not a fix though. It's a new feature, new premium feature, I guess, because it's big box. There is a new option in the big box general settings to skip the game details screen. This will play your game. This will make big box play your game immediately from the games list views when pressing enter from the games list views instead of taking you to the game details screen. And then new premium feature. There's a new keyboard mapping and button and controller button mapping options. There are new keyboard mapping and controller button mapping options for show game details screen that will take you to the game details if you've enabled the skip game details screen setting above. Options in big box. Yeah, that's bad. I don't care. It doesn't need to be that great. It's just a change log, but could there be a way to rate games in big box? That's a good idea. Yeah, for sure. We should definitely have that. I know. Yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't added that yet. Actually, we really should have that. That's huge. LaunchBox, of course, we got the little star rating control. We definitely need that in big box though, pretty badly. I'm surprised. That baffles me that nobody has asked for that. Or they probably have, but I haven't heard that very much, which seems crazy considering how needed that really is. So yeah, definitely we should do that for sure. I always ask if you can put a Bitbucket ticket in there for that. That would be awesome. Silent Hill. Thanks. The next thing, let's take a look at the to-do list. I do need to fix whatever I broke for the backgrounds, which is weird. So I want to take a look at that here real quick, if you guys don't mind. I need to. So I'm pulling this up on my other monitor just to make sure that's not the issue, because I have had some issues on my secondary monitor where the Windows Media Player videos aren't working for some stupid reason because of drivers. But anyways, I'm pulling this up real quick to check it. I'm going to my general settings to specify use game video backgrounds. Use background videos. And yeah, for whatever reason, we still aren't getting background videos. I think I messed something up somehow or other. I'm still streaming live, guys. Okay, give me a bit. Go play. Come on, come on. Still being taxed by that VM. All right. So up the view. That's what I want. We still don't have any backgrounds. I need to take a look at what on earth I changed here. Let's go. I'm going to load up my source control so we can take a look at what might have changed to break it. It's probably the easiest way to do it. I don't see any views that were changed. I wonder if it could possibly have something to do with the files that we placed. Here's what I'm going to do. Just to make sure this isn't the issue, I'm going to go into themes and I'm going to remove all my custom theme stuff that we've been working on. I'm going to move that to my desktop for now. You see all the images for the cab that we're building. I'm super excited about that. It's open. Oh, we have Visual Studio open. Whoops. No to all. No. Try again. It's taking a while. All right. So that's done. And then we're going to go ahead and just restart Big Box here, and it will rebuild or replace those files in the folder for the default theme. I just want to make sure that the theme stuff we've been working on isn't messing with the... No, and it's not. That's not the issue. It's just really the videos aren't working. I must have broke something. I'm not sure what I broke. I won't spend too long on this if I can't seem to figure it out, but I'd like to get it fixed. Let's take a look at source control. Strings aren't going to mess with anything. Big box settings, not a problem. Main view model. Didn't do anything that would affect that. Wheel games view. No. This is all new stuff we did. Same there. Same thing there. All the new stuff. And it broke before we added this code. Yeah, so there's nothing in my outstanding code that would be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and check this stuff in. We added the video path not for, no, oh, you mean for my platforms? No, I haven't. It was working yesterday, so I'm thinking it must be something I did earlier today. I have some check-ins from earlier that I'll check on in a second. I'm going to check this stuff in here first. Basically, what we did was the skip game details screen stuff. So we'll put that as the commit. Check that in, and then if I look at my history, various fixes. That's a great log, isn't it? So this is the last check-in I did from earlier this morning. Wheel games view model I changed. Wheel games view model. It's possible. No, this is no. It's happening in the filters views. I think it's only the filters views. If I pull up big box, I'm sorry, it's still on the wrong monitor here for you guys. Give me just a second. And I go into a particular game. I'm still not. Hold on. Where something I know has videos. Let's go into GameCube. Yeah, I'm not getting videos in GameCube either. It's possible that a Windows update broke Windows Media Player or something. I suppose. You never know. Weird. Let me switch to the VLC engine and see if that makes any difference here. Options. It's strange for this to happen just today out of the blue. VLC. No, obviously I broke something in the code because maybe it is working. Yeah, it's working with the VLC engine. It's just taking forever because of the lag I've got going on. So the VLC engine works, which makes me think something broke Windows Media Player on my machine, which is irritating. What the heck? Whatever. All I can figure is I tell you what, we've had a lot of issues with Windows Media Player on various people's machines doing stupid stuff. For example, well, for one thing, sometimes it doesn't come installed by default, but sometimes it does when people install Windows, and we haven't figured that out. And then beyond that, between different drivers, they have problems. So that's why we ended up having to add the VLC engine. And it seems like all of a sudden I'm having to deal with Windows Media Player issues on my machine. So you got me. One thing to note though is, I'm not even going to get into that. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to ignore it for now and come back to it later. Yeah, I've never been a fan of Windows Media Player either, but the reason why we used it to begin with in Big Box is simply because it's the most performant video player engine for WPF. So that's the reason. I mean, it was just a logical decision to use it because it was already there. It works, and it works better than everything else. It's the quickest way to play videos in WPF. Um, of course, VLC works, but it is a little bit more bloated, and we have issues with the transitions with VLC because it takes so long to load the videos. So, it's kind of a trade-off. But anyways, still want to improve on that whole situation. But I can't spend all my time on the video playback, so whatever. Don't know what's going on. I'll have to reboot the computer later after the stream and check to see what's going on with Windows Media Player on my machine. But yeah, it seems like it's a specific issue with Windows Media Player. And I sync this to all my machines so I can check on my arcade cabinet downstairs and my other machine as well. But yeah, there's nothing in here. I didn't do anything today to break this, so it doesn't really make any sense otherwise. So moving on from that, my to-do list, we did that. I do have an issue, a glitch that I need to fix, where the cover flow views are starting over at the beginning when you back out of the views. For example, let me load up. Wrong screen. Stupid thing. Catch 22, yeah. Okay. Oh, we're using VLC right now. And by the way, I've got a 16 by 10 monitor, but I thought we fixed that with the whole thing on the bottom. I don't know. Whatever. I can't win. So no, we didn't fix it. Most people are gonna have 16 by 9. But yeah, that's another issue with the VLC engine. It's apparently the day to check out all the big box glitches in the live development stream. Congratulations, guys. Um, So basically, what do we want to do? I'm losing my mind. I'm so distracted. So, what the heck was I doing? Back to Visual Studio. Or, yeah. So, cover flow view started over at the beginning on back, logo view doesn't. So, in this logo view here, if I go into Nintendo Wii, for example, and we have Super Mario Galaxy selected, and we go to the game details, and then go back, it stays on Super Mario Galaxy. If we switch up the view and we go to the cover flow view here and we say go to Wii Sports and we go to the game details and then go back, it goes back to the beginning. That's the issue that some people are complaining about that I need to resolve. Um, Not the most fun thing to do, but I got to fix the glitches. So, and I got to get that in before the 6.4 if I can. So we'll see what we can do about that. We got about 50 minutes left. I ought to be able to tackle that. Maybe do something else yet. So we'll see. Um, let's go into view models, and we got to check to see what's different between the wheel games view model and the cover flow games view models to see why that's happening. The wheel games view model, when you go back out, is it creating a new one, or is it because that could be the problem. Cover flow games view model, it shouldn't be creating a new one. I'm not sure why it's going back to the beginning. I want to see if the constructor is being run for these. Here's the constructor. Is there an init method in these? I can't remember. Yep, we have the init methods. When is init being called for the cover flow game view models? Okay, these are overridden methods. The main view model. Show games. So when we back out, for example, on the game details, that's in the text games view model on escape, which is apparently in games view model base. So when we back out, we're calling app.mainViewModel.back. And just setting it to the previous view model. Unactivated. Okay. That's all we're doing is the unactivated thing. It could be caused by unactivated. What is unactivated? Doesn't look like we don't specify that in here. So in theory, init shouldn't be called more than once. I am going to load up Big Box on the other monitor, and then I'm going to attach a debug session to that. Hey, look at that. Restart. We have Visual Studio finally installed. Okay. Now, this is cover flow. So we'll go into Nintendo 64, for instance. Apparently it's already on cover flow. It does the constructor. And it does the init method. And then I'm going to go into GoldenEye. We apparently have a random breakpoint in here that we don't need. Oh, I just played GoldenEye. Whoops. I forgot that setting that I just changed. Close out. Okay. And then I'm going to go into my game details, which is what I wanted to do. And then I'm going back. And what I wanted to check was to see if that init method was called. And it apparently isn't. So these init methods are not being called, and yet somehow or other they're getting reset back. I'm gonna load up Zelda. Just played the game again. Pooh. Okay, game details is what I want, and then we go back, and it's at the beginning, but it's not calling init again. And I should leave this constructor here just in case, but I'm almost positive that it's not something else is resetting it. I'm not finding it in the right spot. Yes. Yes. We go. I just played it again. Come on. Get out of here. Game details. Back out. Yeah. So I'm not on the right path. So we'll keep looking. Hey, Stifilus. Yeah, I saw that. That's on my list. I'll take a look at that. Maybe if I can get this solved before the end of the stream, I can take a look at that and see if we can fix it quickly. It might be simple. It might be pretty quick, actually. We might have issues. Sometimes centering things can be a royal pain in the butt, but hopefully not. The one thing is though, because they're videos, um, the video engines sometimes give me problems centering too. So it could be that it might be more difficult than it should be. But hopefully we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well, good to see you. I notice we're pretty. We got a small crowd here today compared to what we usually got. We've only got 10 people. We've only had 10 people on the stream today. So I'm glad we're switching. We're going to be switching back to the 9:30 a.m. Time here very soon, or on Wednesday. We're going to be switching. Thankfully, I'm done with the 3 o'clock thing. So hopefully we get our viewers back at that point. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of people will be able to watch that can't watch at the 3 o'clock time. So we know that it's not calling the init methods again. The index for the flow control. So for example, when we use left and right, we have selected game, cover flow games view model, selected index changed. Oh, I see. We populate our games. Where is populate games coming from? Init, init. Refresh game images calls populate games. I wonder, where's refresh game images coming from? That could be the problem. Well, let's put a breakpoint on that and see if that's the issue. Attached to the process. This could, I mean, this looks like it's it. We're calling flow control.clear and then populate games. So that only makes sense as to what's likely causing it. But I want to confirm. So go to Nintendo 64. We'll remove that breakpoint and we'll leave this one. So we call refresh game images when it first loads. And then we'll go into Donkey Kong and then back out And look at that. Refresh game images is called, which clears everything. We found our issue. That's good. So let's close out a big box and figure out what we can do to solve this. First of all, well, I should have checked the stack trace. That was kind of stupid. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm wasting my time. One more time. Okay. We're going into, let's do NES. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. And we'll back out. Wait, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, I need to go into the game details and then back out. Okay, and now the stack trace, call stack. So this is happening in active view model set. Interesting. Huh. Anytime we set the view model, we're calling that. Well, now we know. Let's exit out of big box. Oh, it's paused. Okay. Now refresh game images on cover flow. We're clearing everything and populating the game. So why are we doing that? What's the point? Why do we need to refresh the game images? In this particular case, that's the only place where this is done. I'm trying to think. I think the reason why we did this was so that when we change the when we erase the cache, it'll load the stuff back up. But we don't want to do it if we're just, if we're going back. That's the trouble. So main view model. So we're doing this every single time we set the active view model, which isn't probably good. Yeah. We can check to see if we're setting it to the previous view model, I suppose. So what we can do is, I guess, bool refresh game images equals this dot previous view model is not equal to value. So basically, if we're setting it to the previous view model, we're not going to refresh the game images. And then I can just say if refresh game images well, we only do it in that situation. And I think that'll do it for us. Let's build it and give it a shot. And we got a half hour to try and tackle that center video thing. Let's see what we can do with that. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. Come on, guy, build. There goes. Here's our VM. Wow. Come on, there it goes. All right. So we're built. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Still taxing because of this VM. Come on. Probably should have done this off stream in hindsight because it messes with the performance so bad. All right, here's big box. Then, come on, wake up, guy. Okay. We're going to go. Wow. Something's working that hard drive real nice. Oh, yeah. All right. So, there we go. We should be able to go to the game details and back out. And yep, problem solved. Good. Done. We should check the other views, but yeah, fine. We'll go check the other views. There's this view. Yep. And this wasn't ever an issue, I don't think. Yeah, it's fine. I don't think this was an issue either. No. Yep, that's fine. And then the clear logo thing worked before. Yep. That's it. Okay. So that's another thing done. Let's add that to the change log. Wrong one. Resources, change log. Fixed. In some views in big box and some games list views in big box, the current position in the list was not remembered when backing out from the game details view. There it is. Cool. So that's that. Now, oh yeah, we were going to work on the thing for Stiflis here. I do want to get rid of that though, because that's done. We also, that's another thing I wanted to do is update ScumVM. And then I don't know if this is going to happen. Random game videos play one after the other, so that we can in the platform screen, for example, you can randomly play games back to back. So that's another thing I wanted to do. Although that probably, I'm not sure that's going to make the 6.4 release. VLC videos don't show at first launch. That's an irritating thing that I really need to fix. That I don't know how I'm going to fix, to be honest. And then test non-premium eMovie subscription. That's another thing I need to do. That I definitely need to do that before the 6.4 release. Uh, for those who haven't kept up with the releases, 6.4, I'm not planning on putting too many significant new features or any of that stuff into 6.4. So right now I'm still sort of in bug fix mode, trying to get all the bugs ironed out, and then also and minor improvements as well. Anything that I can improve um, before we put it out without doing anything major. I kind of like to do a major release with lots of new features, and then a release afterwards that kind of just smooths everything over and fixes any bugs and that kind of thing. So that's what 6.4 is going to be. It's going to be mostly just a smoothing over and bug fix kind of release. Um, so that's what we got coming. Anyways, yeah. So Stifilus, getting the videos centered. If we take a look at the views first, we have this image video view, and for right now, well, let's take a look at. We're gonna have to turn off background videos. Let's pull this up and find a view that this applies to here first, so we can take a look at it. Excuse me. Are you using Stifilus? Are you using the VLC engine or the Windows Media Player engine? I assume you're using Windows Media Player, which is broken by the way on my machine right now. We'll probably have to do it for both, though, I would imagine. Um, we're gonna have to go to general options and or actually it's under game images, turn off use background videos. You are using VLC. Okay. Well, at least we can test it. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't listen to my option change here. Well, another thing I should look at. Option not updating live for background videos. I'm sure it's going to work once I load it back up, but that didn't do it. All right, so well, what the crap? Is my view messed up? That can't be. That doesn't make any sense. Hey, Beautomaniac, welcome. Yeah, you bet, man. Absolutely. I appreciate the idea. It's a great idea. Um, I absolutely losing my mind right now. Why am I seeing background videos when I've disabled them? Do I have an issue with the VLC engine? Anybody else seen this problem before? I'm going nuts. What in the heck? All right, if we go... Okay, so it works for these. Did I really break that? Because the thing is, like, that seems like such a horrible break. If I really broke that, I would think everybody would be after me. It doesn't make any sense. But obviously, we can see the left aligned videos here. Apparently, it's not a good day for development for me, guys. Holy crap! I keep breaking everything and. All right, the text view, you mean, Stifilus? So, background videos forced in filters views. Am I insane? Apparently. I'm going to get these over in my to-do list. I don't know why I put them in there to begin with. So, there we go. The one with the artwork on top and video under it. Okay. Yeah, the one with text. I just put it on the wrong screen again like a dummy. Okay. Okay, so Nintendo 64 is fine. We're going to change up the view once this loads. The one with artwork on top and video underneath it. This one. Yeah, okay. It's the same deal. It's the same issue, ultimately. Except, of course, we need to go into arcade because it's all 4x3 in Nintendo 64. Yeah, the issue is that it's not centered for the left aligned ones. Okay, let's see if we can tackle that. Um, First off, I want to see. So in my view, my image video view, first thing I want to do is set the background on the VLC player. This.VLC player.background equals new solid color brush color.white. And the reason why I'm doing that, whatever, color.from ARGB 255, 255, 255, 255. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that is so that we can check to see if the VLC player control is the correct size and fills that whole view. Because that will answer the question of, is it the parent view that's the problem or the VLC control itself? So start up Big Box, hit built. Okay. Oh, you see the white on the bottom there. Okay, so go into arcade. Then, yeah, we have white. That's good. So that means the view is taking up the control is taking up the entire view, as it should be. So that's good. So we just have to implement the. We just have to tell the. Hopefully, we can tell the VLC player control to. You see, here's the issue though. See this? We're already saying horizontal content alignment equals horizontal alignment dot center, and it's not working. So that's one of my concerns. I'm not sure that there's going to be an easy way to fix this. It's probably what this probably means is the client library that we're using in order to center the stuff or to put the stuff in WPF is broke for content alignment in the center, unfortunately. And so we'd have to recode that. Um, I do want to try this though. Horizontal alignment equals, just in case that's the issue. We can try that and see if that helps. Unfortunately, though, I'm not. I'm betting it won't. Yeah, it did. So it has obviously there's some positioning glitches in our VLC library that we used, and I am gonna have to come back and address that stuff. I did fix the aspect ratio thing, but it's still, I mean, it's still not perfect for 16 by 10 monitors because you got the crap on the bottom. So the VLC engine is just a pain in the butt to work with. And it's not actually it's not VLC itself. It's the interop library. We haven't found a good interop library, and rewriting that myself is a major task. So we got to use what we get, and I've just got to fix whatever I need to fix. Um, anyways, now why am I not getting any videos? So basically, I broke the videos by setting the horizontal alignment or vertical alignment. How is that even possible? Well, I know how it's possible, but it shouldn't be happening. Bah. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, but I'm not sure that's not gonna be an easy one to fix. Let's see what Beatlemaniac says here. Also, it would be difficult once you fix the random video bug to implement the same video transitions as the platform videos. What I mean is the platform video transitions between each game by fading to the next game after about 5 seconds. Oh, can you make the randomly selected videos fade after 5 seconds too, as opposed to having to watch the full Emu Movies video before seeing the next random video? Uh, Trying to follow you here. Yeah, the goal when we do the random videos, the goal will be to fade one video into the next. Yeah, is that what you're trying to say? Just get us to do the fade. I don't know. I don't know how difficult that's going to be, especially with the VLC engine. One thing that's tricky is you can't really. It has issues when you start trying to play more than one video at once, which is why why the transitions can't be done very well for VLC. So yeah, there's quite a bit of difficulty in all of that stuff, and it's something I want to tackle hopefully soon. But unfortunately, it's not going to be a simple thing to do. So just to be honest, being honest with you there, it's the VLC engine especially gives us a lot of trouble in that regard. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we're going to do that at this point. It's going to take some research. Maybe it might be possible relatively easily with Windows Media Player. I'm not sure. Because the one thing is we have one video player control, and in order to fade one video into another, you got to have two video player controls, and that we haven't had to do with with either of them, with Windows Media Player or VLC. Obviously, it's easy to put another control in with Windows Media Player, not so much with VLC, but it's going to be restructuring to have both videos in there at once. So unfortunately, as nice as that would be, I'm hoping to get that in there because I want that myself. But sadly, it's not going to be easy to get done. So that's where we're at on that. It's not going to make it in there for 6.4 for those reasons, but hopefully we can take a look at it soon here. Uh, but anyways, guys, yeah, I don't know. The centering the videos, like I said, I'm going to have to dive in and figure out what's wrong um, with our VLC player code. It just disappears when I try and set horizontal alignment. Um, so I'm not sure why that's happening. It's really strange. I think that's the issue ultimately is for some reason it's disappearing when I set horizontal alignment. So that's something I'll look into here soon. But yeah, yeah, not a great way to end the stream here, guys. But thanks for sticking with me. It's been kind of a tough day, hasn't it? The development's been tough going. Although we did get a good, we did get some stuff done. We got a good video or custom theme solution going for the most part that I can come back to and finish up. And we did add the new features for skipping the game details, which is a highly requested feature. Um, so we did pretty well. Just a lot of walls. It feels like. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream and get some dinner with the kids. So and thankfully, man, it's been a tough week. I'll be honest with you guys. It's been a tough week because um, I've had the kids to myself this whole week, and having and trying to get stuff done while having the kids and all that stuff is difficult to say the least. So I'm pretty happy with all the progress I made this week, despite the fact that the kids have been gone But man, oh, by the way, I did get the LaunchBox Games database deployed. So we do have the delete game stuff up there now. Um, but yeah, anyways, my wife comes back tonight, so tomorrow I should be back in full force. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday at 9:30. Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. PST for the next live stream. So talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Later.